Everybody. I understand that this pitch has really been more about a theoretical idea than that of an actual company. This is why that my company doesn't have a name or a logo as of yet. That being said, however, I'd like to give everybody just my personal overview and reflection. I had two inspirational moments when I thought about the potential of the evolution of writing assessment software. The first, as I mentioned before, was the amount of time I found that I wasted when assessing a student's written work. As an elementary school teacher, I found that when I was assessing a student's written piece, much of the time was spent either proofreading their spelling, looking at their punctuation, and just looking at the overall structure instead of kind of really assessing and providing feedback with the more deeper aspects of the student's publication. My second moment of inspiration actually came during the Adaptive Learning Technology OER, and during this time, the discussion was brought up. I brought up the concern about uh, alternative learning technologies only really being able to assess multiple choice questions. And anybody who's read Alfie Cohen's articles could understand why that might be a concern. So I thought about the software. I thought that, well, why can't software assess a student's actual just writing, open-ended writing? And after I did some research, I discovered that there were a couple companies that already provided this service. And the issue I found was that these documents needed to be typed for assessment. And again, anybody who's taught in an elementary school classroom could understand why that's a concern, and we're still heavily dependent on the use of pencil and paper. So after some more research, I discovered that the company Captricity has been involved in software that could actually digitalize handwriting. Thus, I would thought, okay, let's take the two technologies and combine them together to create a program that could actually assess a student's handwritten work. Now, I understand perfectly there are a number of hurdles, and firstly is that the Captricity's technology is really in its infancy. It's one thing to assess, it's one thing to digitize an adult's handwriting when it's written on a form. It's a completely different kettle of fish, however, when it's a child's handwriting on a random piece of paper. Also, children would need access to a tablet, which I understand in many lower income communities this could be an issue. Also, profitability and investment also would be a concern, because if you're marketing primarily towards public school boards, having them invest a large amount in capital into a product that they might see as simply supplementing the job of a teacher could prove somewhat challenging. In conclusion, however, we are not about to give up the pencil and paper anytime soon. So I think that if we're going to adapt automated assessment into the classroom, we're going to need programs that can properly assess handwritten work.